Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're jumping straight into the fascinating, incredibly high-stakes world of advanced metallurgical science and the heavy-duty supply chains that keep it all running. You know, if you're managing procurement or engineering for heavy industry, you already know that the literal nuts and bolts holding your operations together, well, they aren't just an afterthought. They are absolutely the unsung heroes of modern engineering. They're the critical lifeline of your entire infrastructure.
Okay, let's dive into this. What actually happens when standard steel fails in extreme environments? Look, we aren't talking about a stripped screw on a piece of cheap living room furniture here. In the chemical, petrochemical, and offshore industries, material failure literally means catastrophic leaks, massive environmental hazards, devastating structural collapses, and frankly, millions of dollars in downtime. The stakes simply could not be higher.
So here's our quick roadmap for today. 1. Surviving extreme environments. 2. What exactly is Hastelloy C276? 3. Technical properties and features. 4. Key industrial applications. And finally, 5. The Aanuraj Fasteners expertise.
Section 1. Surviving extreme environments. The cost of standard material failure.
Now, standard stainless steel is undeniably a staple in global construction and manufacturing. We all know that. But when it's subjected to the intense pressures, volatile temperatures, and highly corrosive chemical cocktails you find in heavy industrial plants or offshore drilling platforms, well, those environments would literally eat standard steel for breakfast. It simply deteriorates. It's totally vulnerable to severe stress corrosion, which, as you can imagine, completely compromises the integrity of massive structures and highly pressurized systems. Long story short, we need something way more robust.
Which brings us to Section 2. What is Hastelloy C276, the super alloy solution?
Let's break down some pretty heavy metallurgical terminology here. Hastelloy is technically defined as a solid, solution-strengthened nickel-chromium-iron molybdenum alloy. Yeah, that's a mouthful, right? But that specific, complex chemical formulation is the absolute secret to its durability. By blending these elements together, particularly the molybdenum and chromium, with a really heavy nickel base, metallurgists have essentially created an alloy that practically laughs in the face of harsh, degrading environments.
And this brilliantly illustrates the real difference. When we compare Hastelloy directly with standard stainless steel side by side, the ultimate differentiator is that high nickel content. See, standard stainless steel has a composition that leaves it super vulnerable to severe stress corrosion over time, but Hastelloy's high percentage of nickel gives it this outstanding, almost unparalleled corrosion resistance compared to standard steel. It's a completely different tier of material science.
Section 3. Technical properties and features. The numbers behind the strength.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is seeing exactly how raw chemistry translates into regulated industrial readiness. We aren't just talking about some theoretical metal in a lab, we're talking about highly specific, standardized components. Looking at precise standards like ASTM B574 and ASME SB574, we see grades like C276 and C22, with size ranges from M10 to M36 and half-inch UNC all the way to 1.5-inch UNC. These exact specifications prove that this product is ready for immediate heavy-duty integration.
Let's detail the 3 core technical features that this precise manufacturing actually yields. Number 1, exceptional stress corrosion resistance. Number 2, high temperature strength, meaning it absolutely will not warp or fail when the heat gets extreme. And number 3, superior oxidation resistance. Honestly, this exact combination of traits is precisely what's required by unforgiving, volatile industrial environments where you simply cannot afford to have a weak link in your infrastructure.
Moving right along to Section 4, Key Industrial Applications, where failure is not an option.
Because of their totally unique chemical makeup, Hastelloy fasteners are heavily utilized for pipes and valves within the chemical processing and petrochemical industries. But it scales up significantly from there. They're absolutely vital for offshore oil and gas rigs. In fact, Aanuraj Fasteners specifically developed rag and anchor bolts for repairing the massive ONGC Pana platform. They also supply components for high-stakes infrastructure projects like the incredible Godavari bridges and Mumbai's iconic Bandra-Worli Sea Link project.
To give you a real sense of the sheer scale of these components, consider the number 3,000. That represents the maximum length in millimeters of the hot forged threaded fasteners produced by Aanuraj for these massive infrastructure projects. They manufacture fasteners ranging from 12 millimeters in diameter all the way up to 150 millimeters and up to 3,000 millimeters long. That's 3 meters long. We're talking roughly the height of a single-story ceiling just for one single fastener. Crazy, right?
Section 5. The Aanuraj Fasteners expertise. Building the supply chain.
Listen to this quote from Tushar Desai, the managing director of Aanuraj Fasteners. He says, "We are committed to fulfilling customer requirements as per the industry standards by meeting statutory, legal, and other needs." This ethos is so critical. It really frames Aanuraj Fasteners Pvt not merely as a vendor just pushing metal, but as an authoritative, trusted business partner that truly understands the severe legal and statutory compliance required in these high-stakes industries.
Let's move to and see how this builds into a really comprehensive supply chain solution. Aanuraj doesn't just do Hastelloy. Their specialized expertise covers a wide spectrum of high-nickel, non-magnetic superalloys. We're talking Monel, Inconel, SMO 254, and super duplex grades. This amazing breadth of capability means buyers don't have to scour the highly competitive market for multiple niche suppliers. Aanuraj literally has all that specialized knowledge housed right under one roof.
And this expertise is backed by some seriously rigorous quality control. Aanuraj is an ISO 9001-2015 certified company. Their products are strictly inspected by their NABL-approved in-house testing labs as well as by third-party inspection agencies. They offer components with EN 10204 3.1 and 3.2 certification. And crucially, they source their raw materials from prime international reputed mills. This ensures non-Chinese materials are used, which, as you probably know, is a major compliance requirement for a lot of global buyers today.
All of this rigorous engineering and quality control translates directly into customer satisfaction. Check this out, 4.7. That's their outstanding rating on JustDial, backed by 99 fully authenticated and trusted user reviews. Look, in the B2B wholesale space, where margins for error are at absolute zero, this kind of hard social proof speaks volumes about the reliability, their delivery network, and their top-tier service.
So the crucial point is this. We've seen the science, and we've seen the rigorous supply chain requirements. I want to leave you with a final thought to consider today. Does your current fastener supply chain prioritize the high nickel-grade expertise required for your most extreme environments? Seriously, if you're relying on standard materials or unverified vendors for your most critical infrastructure, it might be time to rethink that strategy and look towards specialized experts like Aanuraj Fasteners. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and keep learning.